When people think of the AK-47, they think of raw power, heavy recoil, thick steel, a rifle designed to keep firing when everything else fails. Mud, sand, dust, rain, neglect. The AK-47 earned its reputation because it worked when nothing else did. It was never elegant, it was never precise, but it was brutally reliable, and for decades that mattered more than anything else on the battlefield. The AK-47 became more than a weapon. It became a symbol of revolution, insurgency, and industrial-scale warfare. But symbols don't win modern firefights. Performance does. By the late Cold War, the Soviet Union faced a hard truth. Reliability alone was no longer enough. Warfare had changed, and the AK-47 was no longer optimized for how soldiers were actually fighting. The AK-47 fired the 7.62 by 39 cartridge, a round known for penetration and stopping power. It could punch through light cover, foliage, and barriers with ease, but that power came at a cost. Recoil was heavy, muzzle climb was aggressive. In automatic fire, accuracy dropped rapidly after the first few rounds. Soviet doctrine once accepted this trade-off. Volume of fire mattered more than precision. Suppression mattered more than hits. Combat data began to contradict that belief. Most firefights occurred under 300 meters. Soldiers missed far more often than they hit. The limiting factor was not lethality, it was hit probability. Western armies reached the same conclusion earlier. Smaller, lighter, faster rounds increased controllability and sustained accuracy. The Soviets did something they rarely admitted publicly. They adapted. Enter the AK-74. At first glance, the AK-74 looked familiar. Same operating system, same rugged simplicity. But internally and doctrinally, it represented a major shift. The AK-74 fired the new 5.45 by 39 cartridge. Smaller diameter, higher velocity, flatter trajectory. The goal was not raw stopping power. The goal was control. Recoil dropped dramatically. Soldiers could keep the rifle on target during automatic fire. Follow-up shots became faster and more consistent. The distinctive muzzle brake was not cosmetic. It actively countered muzzle rise, keeping rounds closer together during bursts. This translated directly into combat effectiveness. More rounds on target meant more suppression, more hits, and fewer wasted rounds. Ammunition weight was another critical factor. A soldier carrying 5.45 could carry significantly more rounds for the same weight as 7.62. More ammunition meant longer endurance, fewer resupply pauses, and greater operational flexibility. The AK-74 entered service just as the Soviet Union entered Afghanistan. Afghanistan was not a conventional war. It was mountainous, chaotic, and brutally unforgiving. Ambushes happened at close range. Engagements were fast and violent. Control mattered more than raw power. In these conditions, the AK-74 performed better. Faster target reacquisition, less fatigue, higher hit probability under stress. Critics often claim the AK-74 lacks stopping power. That argument oversimplifies reality. The 5.45 by 39 round is designed to yaw and destabilize in tissue, producing severe internal damage despite its smaller size. It was not weaker. It was optimized for different physics. Still, not everything favored the AK-74. Urban combat revealed limitations. Barriers, vehicles, and cover reduced the effectiveness of lighter rounds. Body armor also shifted the equation. Penetration became relevant again. This is why Russia never fully abandoned 7.62 by 39. Even today, Russian units field both calibers depending on mission, terrain, and expected engagement range. The AK-47 represents power and penetration. The AK-74 represents control and efficiency. Neither is universally superior. Each is optimized for different conditions. Western armies face the same debate today. Caliber choices always reflect doctrine, not nostalgia. As warfare shifts toward urban environments, drones, and rapid maneuver, controllability becomes even more important. But as armor improves and cover becomes more prevalent, heavier rounds regain relevance. This constant tension drives weapons development. The AK-74 did not replace the AK-47 because it was better in every way. It replaced it because the battlefield demanded a different balance at that moment in history. When that balance shifts again, the rifle will change with it. Weapons do not evolve emotionally, they evolve emotionally. They evolve practically. Doctrine shapes design. Combat data shapes doctrine. The AK-47 and AK-74 are not competitors. They are chapters in the same story. A story about adaptation, not replacement. A story about trade-offs, not absolutes. and a reminder that the best weapon is the one that matches how the war is actually being fought, not how people remember it being fought, because nostalgia doesn't survive contact with the enemy. Doctrine does, and the moment doctrine changes again, so will the rifle.